And when they turn the bodies over to count the number of closed eyes, and they tell you 800,000, you say no, that was my uncle. He wore bright coloured shirts and pointy shoes. 2 million, you say no, that was my auntie. Her laughter could sweep you up like the wind to leaves on the ground. 6 million, you say no.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, a country torn by conflict. The population takes to the street to protest against the current president Joseph Kabila. He has been in power since 2001 and has shown no sign of stepping down. And this has literally brought the nation to its knees. The population are desperately crying for change in a country that has never experienced a peaceful transfer of power. Despite being outside their home country, the Congolese diaspora living in the UK have also publicly demonstrated against Joseph Kabila's government. They fear that the Democratic Republic of Congo is sinking into a dictatorship.
This country, by definition itself, you can see is a joke. By definition itself is a totally joke. Democratic Republic of Congo, where there is 6 million dead because they want to be free, because they are fighting for freedom. Because so how can this country be called Democratic Republic of Congo where there's no democracy, there's no freedom of speech, there's no rule of law, there's nothing work. The country is upside down. So we, as a British citizen, really I feel shame to see I'm here enjoying all the freedoms. I come here enjoying all the freedom of speech, but we can't do this in my country of origin, which is Congo. People, they are living under dictatorship, just like people live in North Korea. They are under siege. They can't speak themselves. They cannot even manifest their anger against their opposition toward the president to say, well, we don't agree on this. And then what happened, they will kill them like flies.
For many of the Congolese diaspora, they've become activists out of necessity. This has driven them to ask for help. They want to sound the alarm on the horrific abuses committed against women, children, and men by the current government. Over the past 20 years, an estimated 6 million people have died because of this violence, making it the deadliest conflict since World War II. Much of DRC's bitter struggle for peace and stability has received little to no media attention. The Congolese diaspora are determined to make the world listen. Activism is not the only method used to bring attention to the situation in Congo. A small number of Congolese people are using poetry and art to expose the reality of their home country.
When they tell you that you come from genocide, you say no. I come from the first smile of a newborn child. Gentle hands. When they tell you that you come from rape, you say no.
It's difficult and really quite discouraging to see how Congo as a country is being failed, particularly by its leaders, particularly by multinational corporations and people with foreign interests. But I think a lot of that is as a result of not enough people around the world paying attention to what's going on. You know, people aren't paying attention to the fact that there's massive exploitation from the mineral resources, institutional failures that allows that exploitation to essentially go unchecked. And as someone who's from the outside looking in, all you're seeing is the continual kind of destruction of a country that you call home. But at the same time, there's elements of it that are positive in that there are people that are resilient. So I do believe that it's not something that can't be overcome.
Even though the Congolese community have managed to rebuild their lives outside Congo, their minds are not at peace.
There is a lot of things, people, they don't show people on the national TV because I think it's just to avoid conflict between people, but people post it on social media to see how the government in place, which is Kabila government, killing people, how they're abusing people back home, which is not happy because we still have a family back home.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly known as Zaire, is located in Central Africa. It gained independence from Belgium in 1960. Mobutu Sese Seko ruled for 32 years before he was forced out by rebels. Laurent Kabila took his place as DRC's next president, but his presidency was short-lived. He was assassinated in 2001. His son Joseph Kabila, at the age of 29, became the president of a country at the height of a civil war. But now he's being accused of trying to extend his 15-year rule.
When the Belgians came and they used their dogs on us, it traumatized us. When Mobutu clung to power for 32 years and did not allow any leadership to emerge, that traumatized the Congolese people. When we found ourselves in a war from 1998 to present day, a war that killed over 5.4 million Congolese in the first 10 years from 1998 to 2008, that traumatizes people. When rape is used as a weapon of war to punish community, to humiliate community, to displace community, that traumatizes people. An entire country, we are the traumatized people. And we need to sit down and reflect and recognize this is a reality. This is where we come from. These are the struggles that made us who we are. But we are resilient as well. Despite or in spite of that trauma, we are still hoping and pushing and dreaming. And it's just an issue of finding the strength to emerge out of this trauma.
The continuing crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo has forced many activists to question why the international community is not doing enough to stop Kabila from staying in power.
Where's our international justice? Why can't they just go and take Kabila and bring him to speak for himself? Why must we speak for him? The guy's guilty. Why don't you want to go and take him out? Why don't you want to go and take him and pay his sentence like all criminals do? I'm telling the world, it is too late. They should have done this yesterday. What I'm asking for them to do tomorrow or today, they should have done it long time ago. All the presidents who are involved in Congo killing should have been all be punished for it. It's not only Joseph Kabila. Joseph Kabila should be pulled out and he can tell who is in complicity with him.
We say enough is enough. British people and the British government must change the game, must approach the people, must work with the people. If we have a democracy, it's a win-win situation. Everybody will win. Congo become a powerful nation. We have a lot of development. British company will go there and invest. They will invest in this sector, mining sector, in many to rebuild the country, in many sectors. But they cannot do this if there's no democratic government or democratic administration put by the people, for the people.
I'm not naive enough to say that Kabila leaving power, all of a sudden everything becomes good and glory and beautiful. No, not at all. But I do deeply believe Kabila being forced out is the start. We cannot start that journey with Kabila being in power. That is, I'm absolutely certain about that point.
Despite the protests and opposition, Kabila says that Congo is not in a good position to hold a democratic election. Meanwhile, the Congolese people are fighting for peace and freedom.